Hello, welcome to How to Play Like a Watt Pro, episode number 32. Today I'm playing in the KPZ once again, this time on Proc from the North spawn, and I'm going to show you a few tricks on Proc to get a little bit more damage, and I'll go through my thought process as well. So since I'm on an open map, I'm running my loadout with vents instead of HP, just for the better accuracy, better DPM. I don't really feel extra view range as well. I don't really feel like I'll need the extra HP in this battle because I'm not really brawling, I'm just sniping. I'm playing this with full AP and HE and no gold ammo, just to make extra credits and as a challenge. I'm trying to 100% mark it. If you want to watch me do that live, then just check out my Twitch link in the description. So what do I like to do on Proc from the North spawn in the beginning? Well, if I'm in a tank that's faster than, let's say, like a T110E5 with Bond Turbo, then I like to go to the middle and shoot tanks that are coming into positions here or here, something like that, in the beginning. Now there's a very precise way to do this so that you don't get bled in return. So what you want to do is come somewhere around here to this area here, and you want to use this rock to try to avoid the TDs that are getting into position. They'll be around here at this point, so you want to be around here. I don't know why I went left there. That was kind of weird. But yeah, you go to around this position right here, and you just poke up on the ridge. You get 1 or 2 shots, and then you back off. You don't get greedy about it. It's just a way to get a little bit of initial damage, but you really don't want to overexpose or stay there too long. Because the problem with this position here is once they get up to this spot here in H1, then they can easily shoot you. Also, TDs that sit back here can also potentially shoot you, so you need to watch out for that, and you want to be quick about it. You want to get lit, take 1 or 2 shots, and then back off. You don't want to overextend. But this time I didn't get to shoot any of their heavy tanks or whatever getting into position. I just managed to shoot their light tank, which, you know, damage is damage, so I'll take it. Let me turn on the music a little. So what's another tip? So you just saw me shoot down a destructible piece of cover right here. There's like a little triangle house. The reason why I shoot that down is for one simple reason. It allows you to play right here and shoot up at the hill. Usually this little triangle house is in the way, but if you shoot it down, then you can play here and still shoot up at the hill. And what that does is it allows you to rotate from here and back really quickly and get shots on the hill when something gets lit on hill. Usually if you're only wanting to shoot up at the hill, then you want to play here instead because you get better shots on this area here. You can't really shoot this from over here very easily, so you want to be playing here instead. But since I expect to be rotating from this position here in order to shoot the 1-2 line and then back and forth between these two positions, I decided to shoot down the triangle house. It's never a bad idea if you have a high rate of fire, just to take care of it in the beginning of the battle. And as you can see, we have an ELC even 90 spotting the 1-2 right now. And our T30 is playing back on the hill, so there's nothing that's going to get lit on the hill, and there is stuff that's going to be lit on the 1-2. So instead of playing over here, like normally I would, I decided to play here instead, to look for shots. Now this is where having heat would be very nice, but it's a challenge for a reason. I just fired an HE shell at him for the memes. Now our T30 is moving up, so I'm thinking about checking out the hill. But I stay here. Instead of going here, I stay here so that I can quickly rotate back up here and start shooting the 1-2 if something is spotted. But the triangle house sits right here, by the way, so it would be in the way if I didn't shoot it down. And I see our RU-251 is YOLOing, so I decided to head back over there, but then he just dies, so I would need to be careful if I were to get lit right now because the hill could shoot me. And I think about poking for this light tank because he's a one-shot, but then I decide against it. It's way too aggressive of a poke. I don't want to get hit by the T-30 or something else that's on the hill. Now one thing that's going to happen in this game is I think I run out of AP shells because I was bringing too many AP shells, or too many HE shells at this point in the KPZ. What you want to do in the KPZ, in my opinion, is have one loadout with like 21 HE shells, and then you want another loadout where you have like 15 HE shells, and then when you get into higher tier matchmaking where there's fewer tanks to pen with HE, you just bring the loadout with fewer HE shells, so you don't run out of AP. Can just barely pen this tortoise side with 200 millimeters of penetration, or 205 mils. Now I actually blind fired somebody there on accident, so I try to blind him again. But now this is just classical proc. You kind of just wait and wait for people to get spotted, just playing in the middle. Proc is generally a very good map for doing damage, unless you're in like something like an E100 and there's 3 arty and somebody's running the middle ridge just spotting you constantly, then it's not great. But besides that, if you go middle, which most tanks can go middle, outside of something like an FVTD or something, you'll have a pretty good game. Let me speed this up a little bit. Yep, classic proc. Just sitting here for 2 minutes waiting for something to happen. But now their Conway and VK get lit, so I can just farm them. Get a fire there, which is very nice. Another thing I should mention about playing the middle on proc is if they have tanks that are playing up here in these bushes, you can sometimes blind fire them. There's a bush right here on the edge. Or maybe it's this bush, I'm not actually sure. I think it's this one. You can sometimes blind fire right behind it and you'll hit somebody. And then another thing is, if you have very good view range and you play like right here, and you just look at your spotting circle, you can get your spotting circle to actually cover part of H1. And if they fire, then they'll usually get lit. So keep that in mind. It's something that I go for, especially when I know they have somebody who's playing there. Something with poor camo especially. Here I'm over poking mid just a little bit just to see if I get spotted or if I'll spot something. It's a little bit risky, but this thing has 25 reverse speed, so if I get lit I can get back into cover very quickly. Now I recognize from the minimap that our ELC even 90 is starting to make pressure up the one line. So I'm gonna pay attention to what gets lit. And unfortunately I get lit here. I'm not sure what by, but that's information for me, so it tells me that something is probably either on the edge of the hill or playing in the middle or something over here on the one line. Most likely not on the one line because our ELC probably would have lit it. And there we see it's a char future that lit me. And I'm thinking about over poking for him. It's kind of risky, but he starts to back off, so I decide not to do it. I was only going to put one shot in and then back off if he stayed. But here an RHM gets lit on the one line. I'm trying to see if I can find the char future running away, but I don't see him. And then there's the RE251. He gets lit in the typical position over in H1. That was a pretty bad shot, but I think I actually hit the RHM, which is kind of funny. And now I know that they have an Indian Panzer somewhere over there. Now I take a few too many blind shots in this battle. I should have... Well, really what I should have done is not brought this loadout with too much HE. That's the biggest thing, but I also took too many blind shots. Just a couple too many. And our ELC is still deep into the one line, so he can... Like, I shouldn't take this blind shot, it's just too risky. Both of those, really. But our ELC should spot them pretty soon, and there he does. It's just good to have, on this map, it's good to have situational awareness and recognize where tanks will be spotted next, on the hill or on the 1-2 line. And that's the most important thing. Now our ELC has gotten past this part right here. On the edge of these bushes right here, there's like a little gap, and you can sometimes get spotted, like the tortoise would spot him. But luckily he gets past that little gap, and he's now basically home free. There's no gap in the bushes for basically the rest of the bush line, so he's gonna spot everything, and he won't get lit in return unless he fires. Getting pretty unlucky with RNG, but I get a fire to make up for it, so... Now I have the ass of a tortoise, which is exactly where you want to be with something with 3,300 DPM. I shouldn't take this shot, this is just complete garbage. I try to track him, but I really should just be saving my shells. I think I didn't realize how low on shells I was, because I don't think I would have taken that shot if I knew I had 14 shells or whatever. Now if you pay attention to what's lit, everything is lit except the arty, so I can play very aggressive. I can basically just kill this char future and tortoise. I'm on full HP, there's nothing preventing me right now from just pushing over the middle of the map. Should have loaded an HE shell for this last shot. It's a mistake. And I have to waste 2, which sucks. Now the remaining tanks are just on hill. That was a terrible shot. And ideally, I would make it to this position right here. I should have just gone here immediately, but instead I try to get a little bit greedy, and I run the ridge here on the rails. There's kind of a depression on the hill here that they can hide behind. And so if I were to just continue traveling all the way here, then I would get free shots on them, but instead I just sit here. I would have a much better angle from right here. But I do get very unlucky on this T-30. I miss him like 4 times in a row, side of the turret. I realize now that I only have 2 shells left, so I'm gonna try to make them count. And unfortunately, RNG is just not helping me. This could have been like 600 more damage or something, at least, if I had more AP. Well, probably not, but... And right now, when I see that he's in a gap, I should probably just keep moving to here. Like if I had just gone these extra 30 or probably like 70 meters, I would have been so much better. So yeah, 5,800 scene damage, 200 spotting, which is pretty low for proc, 5 kills. I actually had a lot of blind damage this game. I think I did like 6,800 damage. I'll look for the post-game stats, but if I can't find them, then this will be it. But hopefully you've learned something about proc from the Norse spawn on how to play it, how to get early damage, how to know where to rotate either from the middle or to this position here, and why you should do so, like paying attention to where your teammates are. Like if you have nobody spotting the hill, then there's no reason to sit here. You should just sit here instead. Stuff like that. And yeah, hopefully you enjoyed my KPZ gameplay as well. This thing is so good. I love it. Yeah, I'll look for the post-game stats real quick. So here we are with the post-game stats. I had 6,600 damage, 200 spotting, 5 kills. Confederate, which you get a lot in this tank, by the way, because you have low alpha, high rate of fire. 1,800 base XP. This would have been over 2k if I hadn't been sniping for all my damage. RLC did a good job, just being patient, sitting in the bush, and then slowly making his way up the 1-2. He got 9k spotting for that, which was very nice. Then in terms of credits, I made 200,000, basically, which is actually pretty low. I guess because I didn't have a clan booster running at the time. But yeah, I went 30 for 75, which is pretty garbage, but I don't really feel like I aimed poorly for the most part or anything. It's just I was taking a lot of blind shots, and this thing doesn't have the best pen against tier 9s. But yeah, as you can probably see, let me see if I can tune this a little bit. I've been doing very well on the KPZ. I'm very happy with how it's gone so far. Maybe I'll show you my service record too, just for the memes. Just have a whole page of 4.5k plus damage games. I might show you guys this Pilsen game, I'm not sure. We'll see. But yeah, I've been playing it with full AP, full HE, and despite that, I still have as good of stats in this as I do with the Progetto firing full APCR almost. I have like 100 less TPG. With the Progetto, I have like 3,400 firing full APCR, so this thing is very nice indeed. Yeah, anyways, thanks for watching. I'll see you guys later.